in the US to 11 as of February 3. Three patients now at hospitals in New York City are suspected of having the coronavirus, while one is a woman under 40. The other two are over 60, all had recently visited mainland China, and other viruses have been ruled out. Flights carrying passengers from China will be rerouted to one of 11 U.S. airports, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Those airports are John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, O'Hare International Airport in Illinois, San Francisco International Airport, Santo Tacoma International Airport, Daniel K. International Airport in Pueblo, Los Angeles International Airport, Harrisville Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Wolves International Airport in Virginia, Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey, Dallas Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, and Detroit Metropolitan Military Airport in Montreal. U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and immediate family who have visited China's Hubei province will undergo a mandatory 2-week quarantine. There are now 362 deaths linked to the virus. Deaths in mainland China exceed those from SARS. About 17,485 individuals globally, primarily in mainland China, have been confirmed to have the new coronavirus, according to the Johns Hopkins Virus Dashboard. First death related to the virus outside of China, man in Philippines. First U.S. case of person-to-person transmission of virus. The U.S. issued for travel advisory, the highest level of warning to not travel to China at all. Number of coronavirus cases: mainland China 7,302, Thailand 19, Japan 20, Singapore 18, Hong Kong 15, South Korea 15, Taiwan 10, Australia 12, Malaysia 8, Germany 10, Macau 8, US 11, 6 in France, United Arab Emirates 5, Canada 4, Italy 2, Russia 2, UK 2, Vietnam 2, Cambodia 1, Finland 1, India 2, Nepal 1, Philippines 2, Spain 1, Sri Lanka 1, Sweden 1, who will be quarantined in the U.S. Officials announced on Friday, January 31, that the U.S. will be enforcing quarantines on citizens who have traveled to the Hubei province where the outbreak originated. In the last 14 days, if U.S. citizens have been to China in the last 14 days, they will be rerouted to one of 11 airports above across the country to be screened for the new coronavirus, according to the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. If passengers who have traveled to China are showing symptoms of the virus, which include a cough, trouble breathing, or fever, they will be subject to mandatory quarantines. If passengers who have traveled to China outside of the Hubei province show no symptoms after being screened at one of the 11 airports, they will be rebooked to their destinations within the U.S. and asked to self-quarantine at home, according to the DHS. Other travelers who haven't been to China but are found to be on the same flight of passengers that have been to China might also be routed to one of the 11 airports, according to the DHS. What's more, in general, foreign nationals who have traveled to China in the past 13 days won't be allowed in the U.S. The details of this quarantine, such as where people will stay, are not yet clear. Dr. Nancy Missonier, the director of CDC's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, said during a teleconference on February 3, the only people currently under quarantine are the 195 passengers that the U.S. flew back from Wuhan on January 29. They are staying at the March Air Reserve base in Riverside, California. The last time such a quarantine was put in place was over 50 years ago for a smallpox scare. What is a coronavirus? It's in thousands. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that can cause respiratory illnesses such as the common cold. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, most people get infected with coronaviruses at one point in their lives, but symptoms are typically mild to moderate. In some cases, the viruses can cause lower respiratory tract illnesses such as pneumonia and bronchitis. These viruses are common amongst animals worldwide, but only a handful of them are known to affect humans. Rarely, coronaviruses can evolve and spread from animals to humans. This is what happened with the coronaviruses known as the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS-CoV and the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, both of which are known to cause more severe symptoms. Where did the new coronavirus come from? Since the virus first popped up in Wuhan, in people who had visited a local seafood and animal market called the Wuhan Seafood Market, officials could only say it likely hooked from an animal to humans. In a new study, however, the researchers compared the 2019 ENCOV genetic sequence with those in a library of virus sequences and found that the most closely related viruses were two coronaviruses that originated in bats. Both of those coronaviruses shared 88 per 88 88 88 88 88 88 8% of their genetic sequence which with that of 2019 ENCOV. Based on these results, the author said the 2019 ENCOV likely originated in bats. However, no bats were sold at the Yuanan seafood market, which suggested another yet to be identified an animal acted as a stepping stone of sorts to transmit the virus to humans. A previous study suggested snakes, which were sold at the Yuanan seafood market as a possible source of 2019 ENCOV. However, some experts have criticized the study, saying it's unclear if coronaviruses can infect snakes. Does the coronavirus have an official name? No, neither the virus nor the disease it causes have officially names yet. On January 30, WHO proposed calling the disease 2019 ENCOV acute respiratory disease, and the virus 2019 ENCOV. In these names, the N stands for novel and CoV is for coronavirus. We will need to seek approval for the name from the World Organization for Animal Health or OIE and Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO. The final decision on the virus official name will be made by the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses, according to WHO. In a report published on January 29, researchers in China referred to the disease as novel coronavirus 2019 ENCOV, infected pneumonia or NCIP, who discourages new viruses after geographic locations, people, species, or classes of animals or foods. According to the organization's best practices for the naming of human infectious diseases, rather who encourages use of descriptive terms of a disease such as respiratory disease and neurologic syndrome, as well as severe or progressive. The organization also says that if a pathogen is known, it should be used as part of the disease's name. How does the coronavirus spread between people? On January 30, the CDC identified the first case of person-to-person spread in the United States. As of February, 2 cases involving individuals who had not recently traveled to China have been confirmed in the U.S., Thailand, Germany, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan, and France. Time supported. In terms of how one would catch the virus, the CDC says that human coronavirus are most commonly spread between an infected person and others via the air from viral particles, or cough or sneeze, close person, contact, touching or shaking hands, an object or surface breathe viral particles on it, then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes before washing your hands, and rarely from fecal contamination. Deaths from coronavirus outside China. A 44-year-old man in the Philippines has become the second person there infected with the novel coronavirus and the first known death linked to the virus outside of China. According to the Department of Health of the Republic of the Philippines, the man died February 1, the DOH said in a statement, adding, "Our thoughts are with his family at this difficult time. Could this virus cause a pandemic? In order for the virus or any to lead to a pandemic in humans, it needs to do three things: efficiency, infect humans, replicate in humans, and then spread easily among humans." Live Science previously reported, right now it's unclear how easily the virus spreads from person to person. To determine how easily the virus spreads, scientists will need to calculate what's known as the basic reproduction number, or RO, pronounced R naught. This is an estimate of the average number of people who catch the virus from a single infected person. Live Science previously reported a study published January 2019 in the New England Journal of Medicine, or NEJM, estimated an RO value for the new coronavirus to be 2.2, meaning such infected person has been spreading the virus on an average of 2.2 people. This is similar to previous estimates which have raised to RO value between 2 and 3. For a comparison, SARS initially had an RO of around 3 before public health measures brought it down to less than 1. In general, a virus will continue to spread if it has a value of greater than 1, and so public health measures to stem the outbreak should aim to reduce it than 1. The authors of the NGM never said the cause. Anyway.